Speaker, Mr. Steinberg, you can begin.
Thank you. I'll keep this short, sweet, and to the points. We need tougher rental property enforcements that can only be done in the early morning hours before the students leave for school. These student houses are pretty easy to spot lately since most of the landlords have gone back to the old 8 to 10 student per house income grabbing routines. The current snow issue helps us identify these homes easily since they, in most situations, can no longer park on the streets and have to park in the driveways. A point on home inspectors. Anybody can be a home inspector. High school diploma, $250, and several weeks of study. We need more town-approved home inspectors to ensure proper inspection for health, safety, fire regulations, overcrowding, sanitation, illegal housing, and with no COs, locked bedroom doors, basement bedrooms, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right? As well as to protect the neighbors, the neighborhood, and other residents of the towns against fire, explosions, and deaths that have already happened here because of these uninspected rentals. How do we pay for more inspectors? We do what most towns do across the country. We pay for the inspectors by charging more realistic, inline fees for rental applications, rental permits, and inspections even double for re-inspections of prior violations. Even the airlines charge for extra baggage. We should so also. Every application, permit, and renewal must have an addendum requiring the owner or owners to allow unannounced inspections for health, safety, fire regulations, overcrowding, sanitation, illegal housing modifications with no COs, locked bedroom doors, basements, bedrooms, etc. Without this signed and certified addendum, no application should be accepted and no rental permit should be issued or reissued, and there's no exceptions. And just in case you haven't noticed, there's a reappearance of garbage bags stacked high on porches and or stacked against garage doors. They're back with a vengeance. On your way home tonight, just drive by and take a look. You all live here. Your families live here. Your children, grandchildren are here. You must protect this town against the onslaught of money-grubbing landlords who worship the almighty dollar over all else. Don't let them destroy our homes, our towns, and our communities. You all have a duty, just like the police, to serve and protect. That's all we ask for. Remember, all 1,400 of us are at your beck and call. Just ask. We need you as well as you need us. Thank you for your time and energy.
Next speaker is Justine Hewitt.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm speaking on behalf of Stony Brook Concerned Homeowners. Just wanted to give my most recent, this is a problem for me now more than before. New homeowner. I've lived in my house about 3 years now, and the owner across the street has rented out to students. This came to my attention when the student came to my house about 2 weeks ago, and my daughter heard our storm door open, my 4-year-old, and ran over thinking it was Daddy who's home. I knew he wasn't home. He's a police officer in the city, so I knew it was not his time. I told her we never go over to the door for anything. You know, we don't run over, and this gentleman was there holding my door open. So when I went over, I thought maybe it was the wind. It just didn't catch closed. And I opened my door, and I find this gentleman there. I was very taken back. He quickly introduced himself, said there would be a few students moving in across the street, and that they would be having parties. Am I okay with this? I kind of laughed. I couldn't believe that he was actually coming to me like that. And I said, well, if you're asking me my opinion, I'm absolutely not okay with it. I have 2 young children at home. There's no way I'm okay with it. He proceeded to say, well, should I go and have, talk to other neighbors? And I said, well, you could do whatever you'd like, but I would not recommend it. Less than 2 weeks later, not even 2 weeks, he had party number 1 on a Thursday night, cars in and out of my driveway, cabs dropping students off, the person who's renting picking up students, dropping them off all night long in and out of my driveway. My daughter, my 4-year-old, woke up. My 11-month-old woke up. They're now in my bedroom most nights. Called the cops, made a report. I called the owner. I told them. They told me they apologized, promised this would never happen again. Next night, happens again, party number 2. They almost hit my mailbox. I hear students at 1 o'clock in the morning, stop, stop, stop. You're going to hit this woman's mailbox. Again, I call the police. I then call the owner again at literally 1 o'clock in the morning because if I'm up, he's up. And I told him that this can't keep happening. My husband the other night, who's a city police officer, comes home at 1 in the morning to find 4 students sprawled out in the front of our house in a car, laid back. He goes out and he says, can I help you? And the kid says back to him, well, can I help you? He said, well, you're in front of my house, so can I help you? And again, he tells him, well, if you're here for across the street, move your car there. I contacted the owners again, and, I'm not getting very far, but I'm afraid to leave my house with my 4-year-old and my 11-month-old. I don't want to come face-to-face with him. He did not speak politely to the police officers, so I could just imagine how he would treat me, and he's opened my house door. So I'm very uncomfortable where I'm living. So I'd like to ask, for stricter town codes that could be written and enforced now, not in 6 months, because this is not fair.
Maybe the time is up.
I would just comment, unfortunately, we don't have access to people's houses without a search warrant unless they let us in willingly, which a lot of these people do not. That's part of the problem. We don't have the ability to go into these houses without a court order.
Thank you. Mr. Sander, you can begin.
My name is Bruce Sander. I am the president and one of the founding members of the Stony Brook Concerned Homeowners. I reside at 45 Malvern Lane in Stony Brook. It will be 2 years this April that we founded this group of 1,400 homeowners out of a need to rescue our neighborhoods from the invasion of college boarding houses. We really thank Mr. Romaine, Councilman Cartwright, and the town board for supporting our cause to eliminate the illegal boarding houses infesting our neighborhoods. Move forward to today. The town has worked nonstop to try to create a town code that will ease the burden of these boarding houses placed on single-family neighborhoods. We have been meeting regularly, Mr. Romaine, Councilwoman Cartwright, her staff, and Brookhaven Law, representatives of the Stony Brook University. We're on the right track, but still a lot needs to be done. Many of these landlords have put their rental homes in compliance for a short time, then slowly add more and more students, knowing darn well they will not be inspected until the renewal of those permits. As of today, I must state that even with all our hard work we have done, the situation actually reverted back to what it was. These greedy landlords are laughing all the way to the bank at the expense of the hardworking, legitimate homeowners who live as neighbors. A person's home is their major investment. We cannot allow, will not stand by in good conscience and allow this to happen. We need aggressive enforcement to the town codes now. We need more aggressive approach to securing warrants, backed up by recorded data that these landlords are skirting the law. Why have a law that mentions transient population as a criteria of noncompliance in the code when it's not being enforced? We were successful in getting a new district court judge, and Brookhaven now has their own day in court, which is great. Now we just need to put the pressure at full blast to get these greedy landlords in court with warrants to prove what they're doing to our neighborhoods. We need rental registrations to remove a misleading note on page 3 that states, it is unlawful and violation of Chapter 82 for any person, entity, owns a dwelling unit in the town of Brookhaven to allow more than 4 persons per bedroom. This is misleading. It needs to have more clarification. Any regular person reading this would not go any further than that on the application. Tested in court, the landlord would win because the confusing placement of this statement. I have it right here. In addition, we'd like to see a change of inspection standards where a home inspector is not allowed, but a professional architect or an engineer who has spent $40,000 to $60,000 in their education and are not going to risk taking the chance of sliding an inspection, but they have the qualifications to do so as well. I can become a home inspector for less than $1,500. Am I qualified? The answer is no. In Buffalo, a document is given to the rental property, states reasons will cause for inspection is complaints. Well, I'm complaining for all 1,400 of us. We briefly discussed the Huntington laws and the Buffalo laws as a means to cause inspection, even if it means getting a warrant to do so. Every month goes by, it weakens our stance and fills the landlord's pockets illegally. We will not stop until the situation is rectified and our neighborhoods are back to the intended purposes. Supervisor Romaine, I applaud your efforts and those of the town board, and I look forward to working together, and together we can rid the town of the gross violations of quality of life. Thank you.
Our next 4 speakers.
Thank you for your efforts and everything your group does for its community. It is deeply appreciated.
My name is Eileen Roberts. I'm a resident of Stony Brook, and I'm one of the members of Stony Brook Concerned Homeowners. This is not the first time I've spoken to the board, and it certainly probably will not be my last. Like I said, I'm a resident of Stony Brook, and I've spoken before about the infestation of the college boarding houses in our town and the Three Village area. I want to give you another example of what's going on a daily basis in our neighborhood. This letter was placed in my sister's mailbox illegally by some landlord. Her beautifully enlarged 7-bedroom, 4-bathroom house, all with proper permits and a full inspection by the town. The letter was placed in and said, "Hello, I'm Mrs. Lee. I'm writing to you because I'm very interested in your house. My daughter is a student at Stony Brook, and I want to get her a safe house near the school, and I come across your house on Zillow. I'm very interested in buying your house for my daughter. If you are interested in selling your house, please contact me." So my sister and I contacted her. Well, there is no her. Letter goes on to say, "We can talk about it ourselves and arrange a date when we can meet and see the house. If it's all set, we can avoid the broker fees. Wish you best of luck in the future." There was no Mrs. Lee. Did spoke to a gentleman, and it was obvious that the intent was to turn this 7-bedroom, 4-bathroom house into a college boarding house. This house was purposely selected because of the size and the proximity to the university. We know that there are town codes in place, but they're not being enforced. These landlords are laughing all the way to the bank at our expense, and we are not going to tolerate it. This has become my second full-time job. If you drive down Stony Brook Road, you can count 23 cars at 3 consecutive houses. One of these houses was the famed frat house that was featured in Newsday. You know, the one with the 200 students and the public urination? Residents have spent numerous hours researching how other communities and towns have effectively combated illegal boarding houses. And I know that the town has worked on it, but it's not enough. Now is the time for the Law Department to start doing the researching, for the Law Department to find a way to enact the codes. You got into my sister's house, you inspected it, it had legal permits, it's a beautiful home, law-abiding taxpayers following the rules. The landlords are not following the rules, and we need to make them accountable. I am asking you and imploring you to find a way to change the codes, to combat the codes, but to protect the residents of Stony Brook. It is only getting worse.
Mr. DeRosa, you can begin.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Anthony DeRosa, and I'm a member of the Stony Brook Concerned Homeowners Group. It's just under 2 years since our group was formed, and with the town's support and the university, we have made a lot of progress in those 2 years. However, as some of the speakers had spoken about earlier, there are still many violators out there. Based on our information, we feel there are at least 150 homes that are still not complying with the town codes. Enforcement of the town codes is key to our success. Although we have rewritten town codes and introduced new codes, many landlords are still not complying. We need to find innovative ways within the law to shut down these illegal rentals. There are three types of landlords: those who are aware of the law and stay within the code, those who are aware of the law and are not within the code, they just want to make a buck, and those who are ignorant to the law and don't know that they're in violation of the law. Communication is a key. We need more communication. We need to continue to let those who are in violation know that they will be penalized if they don't comply. We need to inform those who are not aware of the law of what the codes state and that they must conform. News articles about the town cracking down on absentee landlords needs to be publicized as often as possible to send a message. A letter from the town to all absentee landlords reminding them of the codes and the penalties for violation may also be helpful in deterring these landlords from continuing to abuse the law. Enforcement. Getting into these homes to inspect them is key to our success. The law department and the university are doing things to help the neighborhoods that are impacted by these illegal rentals. However, we need to leave no stone unturned and use every legal method available to shut down these absentee landlords who are just in it for the money and have no concern for the neighbors of these homes or the community, since most of them live outside the area impacted. The joint meetings recently organized by our councilwoman with the town and the university have been very productive and must continue until we resolve this and bring the neighborhood back to its original design and intent, and that is for single-family residences and not a rental community where absentee landlords are making a profit at the homeowner's expense. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you for all the work you do protecting your community. Much appreciated.